At the very
I had no
top
idea
of the
either. I had no idea.
But it was taken about 4
The more you drink, the straighter his hair gets.
It is 50 hectares, which is 123 acres. And it is big. And it goes back a long way. About 1,000 years ago, the reading Clive Coates, the center of the world was not, well, the Western world was not Paris, and it wasn't London, it wasn't Aachen in Germany. It was actually Cluny, and that's where the Benedictine monks had their thing. The Benedictine monks were good because they liked wine and food and girlfriends, and but some of the killjoys among some of the brothers, they really didn't want to go for all this thing that the Benedictines had done. So they broke away and moved up north a bit and built their own abbey around a bunch of reeds. And the old French word was citru, something like that, for reeds, and they Latinized it. Their name eventually became the Cistercians. So until I read that, being a history major, I love that kind of trivia. That's where it came from the old word for R-E-E-Ds. Anyway, they built it. They were in the marshes. They couldn't make very good wine. They bought some land, and that eventually became the Clos Vougeot, which they expanded to one vineyard, and in the 12th century they built a wall around it. And the word Clos means a property surrounded by a wall. Steinberger in Germany has a Clos around it. Yeah, I guess Romany Conti, good, because it is a Clos, but it has a wall around it. But Clos Vougeot became the one, and it stood with the Cistercians until the French Revolution, when all the land was confiscated. And then you can say, okay, well, that's the reason that there's so many owners in Clos Vougeot. The answer is no. Clos Vougeot was sold to one person. He had some trouble, and he took some out. They took it back and sold it to somebody else. And it belonged, finally by the 1820s, it belonged to a gentleman who owned several properties, including some vineyard down the road called Romany Conti. And this in the 1820s, he actually made, the Romany Conti was made at the Clos Vougeot. It wasn't the estate bottling that we think of today so much. Eventually, the Clos Vougeot, the one owner died. They sold part of it to different people. Eventually, it broke up, and there are now 80 to 85 owners of Clos Vougeot. And being so large, it's very arguably that Clos Vougeot varies in quality. Except that doesn't quite, depending on the location, because this is so large, but it's all included there. If, looking at this map, on your right side would be the eastern side is a road. The soil on the road is less limestone. It can be flooded. It's more clay soil, I think. Reportedly, that is not as good as the better vineyards, which are in the middle, and the ones that are on the very top. So there's actually these three distinct wines in Clos Vougeot, except that the individual grower is so important that some of the best made come from plots down here. By far the most expensive Clos Vougeot, by leaps and bounds, is the Loire. And Loire is, on this map, is on the very bottom, right by the road. If you look, the very bottom means almost, it's the second one up. You see where it says Loire? L-A-R-O-I? Or if you're from Georgia, Leroy? Okay. Loire also owns some land on the other side. Now, when you get to the top, let's start again. When you get to the west side, when that's on the hill, where the soil is more calcium and the drainage is perfect, then these are supposed to be the best sites. And one of them, which should be the best site in all of this, is the one that belongs to Gros Frères and Soie, up here. And on the label it even says Musigny, because it's directly across the road from Musigny. That's the good news. The bad news is, the Grove Fair in Swan is a good winemaker, but they are not in a class with Mio Candruzet or something, and they're less expensive. We are having one of their wines tonight, and I used to serve a lot of their wines, because
They do.
Tuesday morning, they were $9.99.
Hey, puppy.
That's pretty sad.